Audacity is up. G-Hub is up. Google Chrome is up, although I don't have any tabs open right now. And I should, you know? I gotta get my predictions up, I gotta get my links up, I gotta put in my password for the one thing. Come on, we're doing this. We're doing it live. We're doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, let's do this. Let's just do this, man. How's it going, everyone? Oscar Guy here. Welcome back to the Oscar Guy Here podcast. This is episode 9, I believe. And it is December 7th, 2024, 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not sure if it's Eastern Standard or Eastern whatever the other one is because of daylight savings. Who cares? It's 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? And I'm clearing my throat a lot because I just ate. And that's just what it is, man. So please bear with me if I clear my throat a lot. And I'm going to try not to. What's going on, man? It is pre-goal. Look, this coming week, man, is a big week. This coming week is a big week. Monday is Golden Globe nominations announcement time. So, yeah, that's a big one. And then on Thursday next week, which is December 12th, are the Critics' Choice nominations. So, same deal as last year. Golden Globe noms and Critics' Choice noms in the same week, which means I'm going to be doing reaction videos to both of those, and I'm going to be pushing those out next week. So, that's big. That's going to be big. And things are really ramping up this week. We had the Gotham Awards this past Monday. We had the New York Film Critics Award Winners announced on Tuesday. We had the Indie Spirit nominations on Wednesday, and the NBR winners announced, which is the National Board of Review, another awards body. And then on Thursday, we had the AFI Top 10 Films of the Year announced, as well as the winners of the IDA, which is a documentary branch. So yeah, a lot happened this week, and we have some, critics groups happening. Michigan critics groups, I think, announced their nominations, and like Seattle, I think, and I think LA is going to be announcing their winners, and Astra are going to be announcing their winners tomorrow. So, my God, it's a lot. We're kicking into high gear, folks. But the main thing is, Golden Globes are a couple days away. And Critics' Choice not too long after that. So I've gone ahead and updated my Oscar predictions for December. In fact, I did a live stream on my YouTube channel last night. I did a couple hours, and I updated my Oscar predictions. At least on stream, I predicted, or I updated predictions all the way up until, I think, animated and international, and I didn't cover any of the tech categories. But I did update my Oscar predictions in all categories when I was off camera earlier today. And you can go to OscarGuyHere.com/predictions to actually see my predictions for right now in each category. And this is pre-Golden Globe and pre-Critics' Choice. And this is based on all of the knowledge that we have now and all of my speculation as of right now and where we're at before Golden Globes and Critics' Choice are announced. So if you want to check that out, my live stream is archived on my YouTube channel. If you want to check that out, or you can go on OscarGuyHere.com/predictions to see what I predicted. So I might go through those maybe later on in the episode, or I might not, depending on how much time I have. And God, I need to, can my throat not be needed to be cleared out like every 5 seconds? That's real bad. That's real. It's my unsweetened tea from Chick-fil-A. That's probably not helping me or you. I don't want you guys to listen to ASMR. I'm actually going to go get a water real quick, and I will be right back. We're going to pause it. All right, I got some seltzer water, and Hopefully that'll help. Nope. It'll okay. Let's just get on with it, man. Let's just get on with it. Let's start off by talking about what happened at the Gotham Awards, huh? Gotham Awards were this past Monday, and so Honora blanked. Honora didn't win anything. The Brulis didn't win anything. But let's start from the bottom here. So Breakthrough Performer went to Brandon Wilson from Nickel Boys, which is awesome. Anjanou Ellis-Taylor had a great reaction when she read that off. It was wonderful. Very well deserved. Both him, Brandon Wilson, and the other actor, Ethan Harris, I think is his name, they're both equally great in that film. But Brandon Wilson won Breakthrough Performer for that, so that was great. Breakthrough Director went to Vera Drew for The People's Joker. That's really cool. The very first Best Director prize at the Gotham Awards went to one Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys. And that is incredible. I've mentioned that Ramel Ross is my pick for director this year. Not only did he win this, he also won Best Director at New York Film Critics. And that is wonderful. I love to see that. So that is amazing. Best International Feature went to All We Imagine Is Light, which of course is not going to be nominated for the Oscar. So that may very well end up sweeping the International Feature category this year, and then get goose egged at the Oscars, much like Anatomy of a Fall and perhaps even RRR. Either that or maybe Sacred Fig. See if the Sacred Fig could split awards between that. So that one. Documentary feature went to No Other Land, which is looking like the front runner for right now for documentary. But as we know, the documentary branch of the Oscars, they like to snub their front runners. So who knows what the hell's going to happen in the documentary category this year. Things are lining up after Indie Spirit and IDA and Cinema Eye and all the precursors kind of lining things up. But still, it's a very unpredictable category in general. Screenplay went to His Three Daughters, which is awesome. I know that Evil Does Not Exist was also nominated, which is one of my favorite films of the year. But I love the screenplay for His Three Daughters and definitely deserved to win, and I'm glad it did. Let's talk about the wow categories. So, as you remember, in the supporting and lead categories for the Gotham Awards, based on what I talked about last episode, we have a lot of people nominated in either category. 10 nominees each. In supporting, we had Clarence Macklin, Yuri Borisov, Kieran Culkin, Deadweiler, Natasha Lyonne, Guy Pearce, Adam Pearson, and, in outstanding lead performance, we had Adrian Brody, John Baptiste, Nicole Kidman, Coleman Domingo, Demi Moore, Saoirse Ronan, Mikey Madison, Justice Smith, Keith Kupfer, so many performances in each category. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, Sing Sing is back. Sing Sing is officially back. Clarence Macklin won supporting, and Coleman Domingo won lead in both categories at the Gotham Awards. On top of Sing Sing winning, the Social Justice Tribute, where they had a really cool, the whole cast went on stage and Clarence Macklin spoke, and I think, who was the other actor that spoke up on stage? I want to say it was either Patrick Giardi or David Giardi or Patrick Griffin. JJ Vasquez, I don't think is the one. Sean Dino Johnson, maybe one of those guys. They did a beautiful acceptance thing for that award, and yet Coleman Domingo and Clarence Macklin both won in their respective categories, and I think that's pretty big. Now the Gothams don't have to. I mean, the Gothams don't really mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but it is kind of the unofficial start to the awards season. The awards ceremony season. It's the first, I guess, televised award season of the year. So it's more or less just a springboard for campaigns. This is a fantastic springboard for Sing Sing, I think, and for Nickel Boys, I think, as well. So Sing Sing is back. I think it's probably top 3, if at least top 4 for Best Picture now. I think it's making a comeback, and A24 even announced that they are re-releasing the film for theaters on January 17th. So it is going to get a push from A24, and I think it's one of the feel-good movies of the year in a field of more kind of downer films. Anora is ultimately a downer. The Brutalist, very large, very challenging, long film. Conclave, I think, might pull off something. I don't know, but the Oscars tend to like, more feel-good films to award. So yeah, watch out for Sing Sing. I think Sing Sing is going to be coming back. It's going to be coming back, and it's great because it definitely lost steam there for a long time. And it's a great movie, so keep an eye out. So Best Feature comes along, and the nominees were Anora, Baby Girl, A Different Man, Challengers, and Nickel Boys. Now, I was thinking, okay, well, Nickel Boys is the only film here that's won any awards tonight, so surely that's going to be winning Best Feature. My girl Jessica Chastain comes out on stage, and she says, A Different Man. And I let out the I remember when Jamie Lee Curtis won SAG for Everything Everywhere, and I had the same reaction. I said, "What the fuck?" Like, genuinely, like from the most genuine place in my chest, I let out that. And I had the same exact reaction. I said the same words when A Different Man was announced for Best Feature at the Gothams. It didn't win any other award. Now, granted, each category has their own jury, so they're not looking to award any kind of package like the Oscars do. But it was still a shock against Anora and against Nickel Boys, especially. And it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, and it's really great that they did that, because they were just Anora, Nickel Boys, maybe even Challengers, you guys are going to have a good awards campaign, good awards season. We need to give this award to a film that deserves to have some kind of springboard from this ceremony, and they chose A Different Man, and that's amazing, because that is a great movie, and it's one of the most undersung films of the year, in my opinion. And it's a very indie movie as well, and it's incredibly unique. So I was very pleasantly surprised, and I think that is a good springboard for not only the film itself, but for Sebastian Stan and for Adam Pearson. I discussed on my live stream last night that I have a kind of a slight feeling about Adam Pearson's campaign in supporting actor. I see that happening somehow. And this might be a good springboard for him, especially if he gets into other precursors. Yeah, I think it was certainly a shock. A Different Man winning Best Feature at the Gothams. That was pretty insane. So that was the Gotham Awards, and I have my raw reaction right after the ceremony on my Instagram. I posted a video of my immediate reaction to the ceremony there. Instagram at Oscar Guy here. Go follow me. But yeah, those were the Gotham Awards. First award ceremony of the season, kicking things off. And we also had the Indie Spirit Awards nominees announced the Indie Spirit Awards. The ceremony is not until February 22nd, which I want to say is like a week or two before the Oscars. So it's going to be a long time since we see any winners, but the Indie Spirits announced their nominees. And most things made sense, but there were a couple things here and there where I was like, what the hell? Let's just read them off, huh? Anora and I Saw the TV Glow had the most nominations. Anora and I Saw the TV Glow got both 5 nominations. Dee Dee got 4 nominations. The Apprentice, Janet Planet, Sing Sing each got 3 nominations, and then every other film either were nominated once or twice. So, Best Editing, we have Jazzy, The Apprentice, Night Bitch, September 5, and Dee Dee. And I think that's September 5's only nomination here. Cinematography, Inside the Yellow Cocoon Shell, Nickel Boys, which has been doing pretty well in cinematography, early precursor, critics circles and stuff. I think it won New York Film Critics Award for cinematography, so that's great. Janet Planet, La Cocina, and The Fire Inside. International film, All We Imagine Is Light, Black Dog, Flow, which I actually did see today, and I thought it was very good. Green Border, and Hard Truths. Documentary feature, Gaucho Gaucho, Hummingbirds, which I've never heard of both of those. No Other Land, which has been doing great. Patrice the Movie, and then Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, which has also been doing pretty well. First screenplay, The Feeling That the Time for Doing Something Has Passed. Janet Planet, Good One, Problemista, and Dee Dee. Problemista, good nomination for that. First feature, Dee Dee, In the Summers, Janet Planet, The Piano Lesson, which I also did see and I enjoyed, and then Problemista. Screenplay, we have Heretic, we have A Real Pain, we have My Old Ass, A Different Man, there it is, and I Saw the TV Glow. Breakthrough performance, Isaac Krasner in Big Boys, Katie O'Brien in Love Lies Bleeding, Mason Alexander Park in National Anthem, Renee Perez Yogler in the Summers, and Maisie Stella in My Old Ass. Supporting performance, Yura Borisov in Anora. Yura Borisov in Anora. There we go. Joan Chen and Dee Dee, finally, she gets some kind of nomination. Kieran Culkin in Real Pain, Daniel Dedvar, Piano Lesson, Carol Kane in Between the Temples, and she surprisingly won Best Supporting Actress at New York Film Critics, and that was kind of a shock to a lot of people. I still need to see it. Karin Karagulian in Anora, Let's Go. Some love for my boy Karin. Kani Khosrowshahi in Girls Will Be Girls. Bridget Lundy Payne, I Saw the TV Glow, who was also nominated for Gotham. Clarence Macklin, Sing Sing. Adam Pearson, Different Man. Who isn't here? I feel like they like leave off some people. And this is for indie films, by the way. So there's no Guy Pearce here. There's no... I think that's basically it. As far as indie films go, that's it. So that makes sense, I think. Lead performance, we have Amy Adams in Night Bitch, Ryan Destiny in The Fire Inside, Coleman Domingo Sing Sing, Keith Cutfer Ghostlight, Mikey Madison and Nora, Demi Moore The Substance. A lot of these are Gotham nominees. Hunter Schafer in Cuckoo, Justice Smith, I Saw TV Glow, June Squibb in Thelma, which they're really trying to push her, and then Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. So, can The Apprentice pull off something outside of Indie Spirits? Is that film still alive, despite the current political climate? I don't know. Adrian Brody's in here. Why? Adrian Brody's in here. Why? What else? Timmy Chalamet. That's a bigger film, I think. Same with Conclave. I don't see Jesse Eisenberg here either from A Real Pain. I don't see Daniel Craig Queer. I think that's more big budget. But sure, that's fine. Best Director, Ali Abbasi, The Apprentice. Crazy. Sean Baker, Anora. Brady Corbett, The Brutalist. So The Brutalist shows up in Director, but not in either supporting categories. And by the way, it doesn't show up in Best Feature either. What the hell is that? Alonso Ruiz Palacios, sorry for La Cocina. And Jane Schunbrun, I Saw the TV Glow. That's Best Director. And then Best Feature, Anora, I Saw the TV Glow, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, and The Substance. Very interesting that Ramel Ross didn't make director here. Neither did Coralie Farjat for The Substance. Very interesting. Very interesting picks. Not sure how voting works for Indie Spirits, but some weird things going on here and there. Mostly for the scattershot presence of The Brutalist. And I don't know. Interesting. But, I mean, sure. I don't really have any crazy takeaways from this. But, again, it's mostly a springboard for these campaigns and giving us a better idea of what films are going to be in the conversation for the rest of the award season. So, Anora is still showing up. It's not winning a whole lot so far, but it's showing up. Real Pain is really showing up. Different Man is showing up. The Brutalist did win New York Film Critics for Best Film, so that's wonderful. Its presence was shoddy at Gotham's, even though I think Adrian Brody and Guy Pearce got in for Gotham's. And we will get to NBR and AFI here in a second. But I feel like The Brutalist is going to perform better once it comes out and once people start talking about it and the buzz kind of builds for it. It'll do good at the Oscars. Well, let's just put it that way. But those are the Indie Spirits. Again, they're not going to happen until quite a while, but we have those. So let's move on to NBR, which is the National Board of Review, which is a very old organization laying out their favorite films of the year. Not much is known about who they actually are and who the voters are, but they're kind of an old school awards body. You know, they really like popular films, like musicals, more like, I guess, quote unquote dad movies. You know, they like Clint Eastwood films. They like big blockbusters. They like kind of crowd pleasers in a way, but they also kind of go outside of the realm of that realm rather, and they like to kind of recognize more out there titles, I guess, for lack of a better term. But so they chose NBR chose Wicked for Best Film of the Year. Now Wicked has obviously been doing very well. It definitely has its detractors, but I think the hype on that film is at an all-time high right now, and it could be recency bias at work here. But it's showing up and it's doing really well, and NBR really praised it. In fact, they gave John M. Chu the Best Director prize at NBR, which is pretty insane, you know. And I think Cynthia Erivo won Best Actress at NBR, and they even gave a special award for Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande for their creative collaboration, whatever that means. So that's something. I think Wicked is, whether you love it or not, it's definitely in the top 5, at least for Best Picture right now, if not top 3, top 2. So watch out for Wicked. So NBR said that was the one. And then they listed Anora, Conclave, A Real Pain, Sing Sing, Complete Unknown, Gladiator 2, Juror Number 2, again, Clint Eastwood, Baby Girl, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, remember that? And Queer. Really wild picks. They failed to include The Brutalist, which is just absurd. Dune Part 2, they failed to mention, which is also absurd, given that they recognized Dune Part 1 and Sicario, Denis Villeneuve's other film. Like, how do you list Gladiator 2 and Furiosa and not Dune Part 2? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. They didn't mention Emilia Perez, and they didn't mention Nickel Boys. Those two aren't total shocks, but very strange picks for sure from NBR. Now, they don't really matter a whole lot comparatively to its correlation to the Oscars. But again, it kind of gives us an idea, similar to, some of these other awards bodies I've already talked about. It gives us an idea of where we're headed, what films are in the pantheon right now. So they failed to mention The Substance. Blitz is pretty much dead. September 5, I think, might be dead. Saturday Night, I think, is dead. Room Next Door, dead. So that's NBR. And then the day after that, AFI, not the band, but the American Film Institute. They put out their top 10 films of the year every year, and they are more important, I think. I think this really matters. A lot of their nominees go on to be nominated for Best Picture, or at least be in the conversation. So they chose Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Wicked, Sing Sing, A Real Pain, A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, and Nickel Boys, which is very predictable. Very predictable. And that makes a lot more sense than NBR's picks, in my opinion. So that very well may be the Best Picture 10, give or take, maybe take out A Complete Unknown for The Substance, let's hope. But I want to say, that seems pretty likely to be, a very accurate portrayal of what the Best Picture 10 may look like. So that makes a lot of sense to me. But films that have been recognized by both NBR and AFI are Anora, Conclave, Wicked, Sing Sing, A Real Pain, A Complete Unknown. So those are looking fairly strong. And I think The Brutalist has a good shot to get nominated elsewhere as well, because then again, it won New York Film Critics for Best Film, and that's a pretty big stat. So that is NBR and AFI top 10. So I took all those things into account and updated my Oscar predictions. And again, you can check that out on my website, oscarihere.com/predictions. Go check that out. So yeah, that's what's been happening this week. A lot has happened. And Golden Globe nominations are coming out on Monday. And I'll be doing reaction videos for that. Can't wait. It's getting exciting. Things are lining up. And tis the season. Tis the season, folks. Let's see. We already talked about Sing Sing getting re-released. Moana 2 is making a butt ton of cash money. Love it or hate it, I've heard that Moana 2 is mid. I know there's some people out there that enjoy it. That really enjoy it. I know families really love it. It doesn't really... It's been doing well, man. It's made almost $500 million at the box office. $465 million at the box office as of this recording. And it came out last week. So, last week, right? Last week? About a week and a half ago. So yeah, man, it's making a lot of money, and I think it might squeeze into the best animated feature 5 at the Oscars. Um, it's gonna have to push out Wallace and Gromit, or it might have to push out Memoir of a Snail. Um, but it's not a guarantee. Definitely not a lock, but I can still see that happening. Then again, Frozen 2 missed the Oscar nomination all those years ago. And let's see how much money that made. Frozen 2. How much money did that make? Okay, yeah, Frozen 2 made. Frozen 2 made $1.5 billion. So maybe maybe it'll miss it after all. Maybe Moana 2 will miss after all. That's crazy. And what was Frozen 2's Rotten Tomatoes score? Like, how was that? What was the critical response? 77% and a 64 on Metacritic. And then Moana 2, I believe, has like a 62 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 58 on Metacritic. So, okay, well, I redact my prediction that it will get into the Oscar 5. It's definitely not a guarantee. Yeah, it's definitely not a guarantee. Never say never, but it's not a guarantee. But I just want to say that it's making a lot of money despite its critical reception. Dune 2. Dune Part 2 score. Disqualified. Dune Part 2 score. Dead. Done. Ineligible. It was officially deemed ineligible for an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score. Unfortunately, it did not meet the eligibility requirements. I think it just had too much music from the first film, and I think that's what led it to be ineligible, and that is very unfortunate. I don't like that rule at all. The quality of that score is just incredible. In fact, I think the music in that film is better than the music in the first film. Pour one out. Pour one out to Dune Part 2. Pour one out to Hans Zimmer, even though he won for the first one. Pour one out, anyway. So, it's going to be another situation where it's going to kill it at the precursors. It might even win every precursor, for all we know, for original score, and then it's just not going to be nominated. So, and that's going to be tough for us because what the hell is going to win now? A lot of people are saying The Brutalist might win. I can see that happening. That's my number one for right now. Conclave could also happen. Saturday Night could also happen. What else? What else do I have in score? Amelia Perez. Challengers might happen. The Room Next Door. The Oscars like Alberto Iglesias. The Wild Robot, I'm skeptical on. I mean, it's good enough to get nominated for sure, but they have been. The Academy has not been doing very well nominating animated films outside of animated feature. We saw it last year with Boy and the Heron and Spider-Verse. We saw it the year before with Pinocchio. It doesn't really happen that much. So I have doubts about that. Maybe even Sing Sing could pull off some crazy, weird original score nom. We saw last year with American Fiction getting in. They'll do some weird stuff. So, but for right now, I think I have The Brutalist winning, at least for right now. But watch Dune Part 2 win Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, and BAFTA for original score. And then what the hell are we going to do for the Oscar? We're just going to assume that The Brutalist takes it. It's going to be weird. Or maybe even Conclave. I don't know. Volker Bertelmann will get his second Oscar. yeah, so pour one out for Dune Part 2. It is no longer eligible. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Uh, at least we have an answer. I would much rather have an answer now than to just be confused and assume it's getting in uh, the entire year, because it looked like that way for a long time, because like they said it was ineligible, but then they were campaigning it anyway, and the source that said it was ineligible didn't really confirm it, and it was weird, but we finally have confirmation now, so we can put that to rest. We can put Hans Zimmer to rest. Okay, Hans Zimmer, let's get you to bed. Sorry, we have to do this, but you're gonna have to sleep this year. And but how about Blitz? No, Blitz is blanking. Blitz is getting goose egged at the Oscars. Mark my words. It might get sound or something, but Blitz is basically dead. Um. So yeah, that's that. That's that, man. That is that. Um. Let's let's quickly talk about some of the films I've seen since my last episode. Um, Before we move on to Golden Globe and maybe Critics' Choice predictions, just want to update you guys on what I've seen lately. Let's see, what have I watched? I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the first time over Thanksgiving. I think I talked about that briefly during the last episode. I watched it with my mom for the first time, and it was cute. It was fun. John Candy, man, what a legend. And Steve Martin's great too. It was very good. I enjoyed it. It was a romp, and it's got heart, and it's very funny. It's timeless. And there's a shot of, they need to bring back the skeleton shot, or the skull shot, but the skeleton shot. And what I mean by the skeleton shot is, I'll give you an example. In Home Alone 2, when Marv goes down to the basement and he tries to use the sink to wash his face, and it's hooked up to I don't even know, some kind of electrical box or something like that, and he gets electrocuted. And towards the end of the scene, he turns into a skeleton for for a few seconds, and then he's back to his old self because he got shocked. Can we bring those scenes back, man? It's just, there's something about it that just hits my funny bone in a way that's just so visceral. And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles has a similar scene when they're on the highway and they squeeze between those two trucks and they mess up their car and they're screaming. And not only do they both turn into skeletons for a split second, John Candy turns into the devil for a second too. Just wacky shit. Wacky shit. But that skeleton shot really, I was like, of course there's a skeleton shot in this 1987 ass movie. Unbelievable. Let's bring back the skeleton shot, man. Let's bring back the skellies. Bring back the skellies, man. But yeah, that was good. It's a great Thanksgiving. It's the perfect Thanksgiving film. It was very good. I enjoyed it. And then I rewatched The Godfather Part 2, also with my mom. And it was just on TV, and I just kind of threw it on. And I kind of started it maybe a third of the way into the film. And I watched a good chunk of it before we went to bed. And then the next day, because I was still staying at their place for Thanksgiving, we watched the rest of it. And I liked it even more on the second time around. I think the first time I saw it, I think, was back in the summertime or maybe the springtime this past year. And I remember really liking it, but there was some kind of... It lost me in a few spots, and I still think the first one's better. I like the first one a little more. But I came to appreciate and understand, and I liked it more the second time around. And it's a great movie. It's excellently paced. The dual timeline thing, where it goes back to Vito and it goes back to Michael Corleone in their respective timelines, it works for the most part. Sometimes it's like, oh, here's another scene of Robert De Niro and like what his dad did. After a while, it gets to be like, okay, like we get it, kind of. But for the most part, it does work, and it's very well done, especially with a lot of the story beats. Um, it's well done, well written, well executed. Al Pacino should have won the Oscar, hands down. And he lost to, I think, what was it, Harry and Tonto? Who was the Art Carney? He lost to Art Carney and Harry and Tonto. Crazy. But yes, it is a very serious, very subdued, very cold performance. So I guess it makes sense for the Oscars to go with some other performance that's more lighthearted and more showy than Al Pacino in The Godfather Part 2. But it is what it is. He is unbelievable in that movie. Unbelievable. Like, he says so much with his eyes and with his face. And he's so, like, subdued, like I said, and very understated, that when he does have a burst of emotion, it is all the more affecting, or all the more effective. He's amazing in that movie. And Robert De Niro is great too. Everyone. Very good. Very, very good movie. Still have yet to see part 3. I've heard not great things about it, but I'm in no rush to see it. What else? I watched The Wild Robot. Very good. Really enjoyed it. Unbelievably beautiful animation. Very, very good. Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Bill Nighy, they all do excellent voice work in this film. And Stephanie Hsu is awesome. She plays like this villain character that kind of comes into like the third act of the film, and I wish there was more of that character, because they kind of introduce her very later on into the film, and then like she's gone before you know it. But I feel like that could have been fleshed out a little bit more. But I didn't even know it was Stephanie Hsu until I watched the credits. I was like, oh, that was Stephanie Hsu. I forgot she was in this. And she did a fantastic job as the villain. Yeah, it is very heartfelt. It really tugs on your heartstrings. I did shed a little bit of tears near the end. Very, very. It's hard not to get very emotional watching it. And I think one of my followers, Kai, shout out to Kai. She's a subscriber. During the live stream last night, she was kind of talking about The Wild Robot and how it really gets you. It really hits you in your core as a mother, assuming that she is a mother. If you're a mom, like, this will just like completely destroy you emotionally. And I can see that. Circling back on some of the scenes near the end, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Oof. But it's very feel good. It's very heartfelt. I mean, in my opinion, it got a little sappy, a little heavy-handed in some aspects, but it means well. And it did a good job portraying its message, and I thought it was a beautiful film. Would I call it the pinnacle of DreamWorks animation, as some people call it? I don't think so. I don't know. It's very good, though. It's very, very good. Not game-changing, but very good. And I will be happy if it wins animated feature, which it probably will. So that was The Wild Robot. I also saw The Piano Lesson a couple days later, and that was on Netflix. And I've heard kind of mixed things about it. I heard it was kind of unremarkable, but serviceable, with some good performances. But it was on Netflix. I'm like, okay, I got to knock this one out. And I knocked it out, and I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was great. In fact, I think it's my favorite August Wilson film adaptation between this, Fences, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I think The Piano Lesson might be my favorite one. Um, I think the filmmaking is definitely the most interesting aspect of it. You know, out of those three films, I think the filmmaking is the strongest in The Piano Lesson. Um, I really liked the paranormal, spooky stuff that they did. I thought that was very affecting. John David Washington really surprised me. I thought he was great. Ray Fisher was great. Some of the supporting cast was great, and obviously Danielle Deadwyler is what an incredible actress she is, and I really hope she gets a supporting actress nomination. They need to redeem her for what they did, snubbing her for Till a couple years ago. Unbelievable. But she is great in this film, and she is pretty much the heart of this story. And Sammy J is in there, Samuel L. Jackson. He doesn't really have a huge, like, prominent presence in the film. He played the same character on Broadway, and I want to say he was nominated or maybe even won a Tony for his performance. But they kind of recontextualized the film adaptation from what they do. And I want to say like this, there's like this stage to film adaptation curse that I like to call it, that when you adapt a play for film, the film ends up kind of coming off as just like too play-esque, where it's very dialogue heavy and they're kind of performing as if they're on stage, but it's a film, so there's this weird, like, it doesn't really pay off, and it feels kind of trapped. You know, I felt that Fences Fences had this curse. The Whale had this curse. In some ways, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom had the curse, but that was maybe a little bit better than Fences, at least in the filmmaking side. But there are also films like this and The Humans. I remember that movie, The Humans, from a couple years ago. That was an incredible adaptation of that play. In fact, I absolutely love that movie, The Humans, from 2022. I feel like I'm an outlier there. I don't really hear people talk about The Humans that much at all. Even when it came out, people were just like, it's fine. Dude, Humans knocked me out, dude. That movie knocked me out. But I feel like The Piano Lesson kind of, there's some scenes here and there that's like, okay, this is a little stagey, but it did a good job kind of breaking things up and making things more visually interesting. And it's not perfect, but I thought it was good. I really liked it. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And then this afternoon, I saw Flow, the animated film from Latvia, which is being submitted for international feature and animated feature. And it might get into both categories. We'll see. But I enjoyed that too. I think I enjoyed it almost as much, if not just as much, as The Wild Robot. Definitely a very different film. It's a dialogue-free film. You're following this cat and some of these other animals that it comes into contact with as the world is ending, I guess. The world is getting... so the sea level is exponentially rising. I'm assuming from the effects of global warming or something like that. But like basically, like everything is getting drowned underwater and everything, and these animals need to survive. Figure out how to survive while the world is kind of collapsing. And there's no humans, it's just animals. There's a cat, there's a dog, there's a lemur, there's a meerkat, there's this big bird, and some other animals here and there. No dialogue, all just interactions. And it's the visual storytelling is great, for sure. They really knocked it out of the park with the visual storytelling. And it's kind of just this basic, like, I don't want to say run of the mill, but the plot is very straightforward. It's just like, okay, everything's underwater. They're on a boat. They're just trying to survive. There's this thing they're trying to get to, and I don't want to give the rest of the film away, but it's I guess a quote unquote road movie for animals. It's very beautifully animated, and it gets interesting in a couple spots that for a lot of the film I was kind of underwhelmed by the film in general. I thought it was kind of standard fare, but there were a few scenes here and there, and the ending kind of did something for me as well. There were a few scenes here and there that kind of tied things together for me, and I was like, oh, this is like kind of cool. Like, this is a little bit profound in a way. And it kind of leaves things up to interpretation, in some of its themes that it's trying to convey. So I found that really interesting. I was like, okay, you wanted me over there. So I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good. I wouldn't mind watching it again, in fact. So Flow, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Very good. Very, very good. And that won Best Animated Film at New York Film Critics. So over Memoir of a Snail and The Wild Robot. So that's pretty strong. So we'll see how Flow does this award season. And that is everything I watched since the last episode. So that's that. Okay, so let's talk about what is going to get into the Golden Globes. So let's see. Pulling up, there is an app that you can download called Award Expert, and it is created and maintained by one Brother Bro from the great Oscar Expert YouTube channel. I've been following those guys for a very long time, and they are partially the reason why I got into this business in the first place. So I owe them a lot. I owe them everything, really. I'm a huge fan of them, and they're wonderful. And Brother Bro is a developer like myself, and I'm not much of an app developer, but he developed this app called Award Expert. Download it. It's great, and I have it up right now, and I'm going to look at what the community is talking about in regards to what's going to get nominated at the Golden Globes. So let's see what the community is saying. So picture drama. We have The Brutalist. That's most likely happening. Conclave, Dune Part 2, Sing Sing, Nickel Boys, and A Complete Unknown. That's the top 6 that the people are saying. And I can see that happening. Outside Shots, Gladiator 2, probably not going to happen. Blitz, probably not going to happen. Room Next Door, Sacred Fig, I'm Still Here. Those are very outside shots, I think. So that top 6 makes the most sense for me. I think, I want to say that's going to be the top 6. And then we have musical or comedy picture. People are saying Anora, Wicked, Amelia Perez, A Real Pain, The Substance, and Challengers. That also makes sense. Outside Shots, Saturday Night could squeeze in, maybe in place of The Substance if The Substance doesn't do well. But these are the new Globes, by the way, and the new Globes are cool. They're international cinephiles basically now, so they will do some cool stuff like they did last year, and they're more open to kind of cooler picks. So I feel like The Substance has a shot to show up here. But Outside Shots, Saturday Night, Hitman, A Different Man it looks like an outside shot right now. We'll see if that Gotham Best Feature win will boost it. But that is an outside shot for now. And that's pretty much it. Anora, Wicked, Amelia Perez, A Real Pain, The Substance, and Challengers. That's fine. And then maybe Saturday Night, Hitman, Different Man. Sure. Let's see. Director, Brady Corbett, Sean Baker, Denis Villeneuve, Edward Berger, Jacques Audiard, and Corey Fargiat. John M. Chu could maybe get in. I think that's very possible. Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys. I would love to see that. Definitely not a lock, but I would absolutely love to see that in place of, someone, maybe in place of Audiard or Berger. And Luca Guadagnino for Challengers, not likely. Cuidar for Sing Sing, not likely. Ridley Scott, I'm not sure what his track record is for Globes, but or maybe Rosoloff for Sacred Fig, like that could happen. So that category is a bit up in the air, but that seems okay. That seems fine. Actress in a drama. Now for the acting categories, especially the lead performances, not so much supporting performances, but we know that the lead performances are split into their drama category and their musical or comedy category. And each category has 6 nominees. So everyone's going to get in. Most of the prospects are going to be getting in to either of these categories. So actress in a drama, we have Angelina Jolie for Maria. Nicole Kidman, Baby Girl. I mean, I can see her winning in this category because they love Nicole Kidman. I mean, remember when they awarded her for what was it? Being the Ricardos? She won for Being the Ricardos over Kristen Stewart and I want to say Jessica Chastain. Was that same year? Chastain, Stewart. I want to say that was the same year. Yeah. So they got Jolie, they got Kidman, they got Marianne Jean-Baptiste, they got Saoirse Ronan in The Outrun, Fernando Torres, I'm Still Here, and Tilda Swinton, The Room Next Door. Outside shots, Pamela Anderson, Last Showgirl, Kate Winslet, Lee. I can see Kate Winslet happening for Lee. That could be a shock. But yeah, that makes sense to me. Actress, musical, or comedy. We got Mikey Madison, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gascon, Demi Moore, Zendaya for Challengers, and Amy Adams, Night Bitch. June Squibb Thelma could happen. That's an outside shot. Emma Stone, Kinds of Kindness. Some people were saying. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That makes sense to me. I can see Erivo pulling off a win here. I mean, if the Wicked recency bias kind of wanes, and maybe it's at just as strong once the Golden Globes come around about a month from now, maybe she'll pull something off, or maybe they'll just award Mikey Madison and she'll just be the front runner. We'll see. Actor in a drama, Adrian Brody, Ray Fiennes, Coleman Domingo, Timothy Chalamet, Daniel Craig in Queer, and Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. Sure. Outside shots, Paul Mescal, Gladiator 2, Bob Marley, One Love, Kingsley Benadir, John David Washington, Piano Lesson. That top 6 seems okay. Although they could swap out Craig or Stan. But that makes sense for the most part. Actor, musical, or comedy. Who's going to win this? I think it's between Glenn Powell and Hitman. That makes a lot of sense for a Golden Globe. Or Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain. I think it's really between those two. But other people are saying Sebastian Stan for A Different Man, Gabriel LaBelle, Saturday Night, Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice. Wow, Jesse Plemons in Kinds of Kindness is number 6. That's crazy. And then Hugh Grant, Heretic. I think he'll get in. I think that makes a lot of sense for him to get in. In fact, maybe he can pull off a crazy surprise win or something. I don't know. Ryan Gosling and The Fall Guy, that could happen. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool and Wolverine, that could happen as well. Yeah, Jason Schwartzman in Between the Temples. I don't know, man. But I really think it's between Powell and Eisenberg there. I still need to see Hitman. Supporting actress: Zoe Saldana, Ariana Grande, Felicity Jones, who needs to start getting nominated for things. Danielle Deadweiler, Selena Gomez, and Anjanou Ellis-Taylor, Nickel Boys. Isabella Rossellini is on the outside. Is on the outside here. She's in Conclave for like 5 minutes. She's great, but she's not. She's barely in the movie, so I don't know. I doubt her chances. We'll see. Margaret Qualley, The Substance, maybe that'll happen. Saoirse Ronan, Blitz, I think that's dead in the water, but we'll see. Natasha Lyonne, His Three Daughters. Why is she so far down the list? I think she could probably happen. Maybe that film is just too small for them. I'm not sure. Supporting actor: Culkin, Pierce, Macklin. Those boys are locks for sure. Culkin could very well win here, or Macklin could give him a run for its money. Denzel Washington, Gladiator 2, Yuri Borisov, Honora, Stanley Tucci, Conclave. Sure. Then Edward Norton on the outside shot. Norton, I think, could take the place of Tucci. Or even Washington. I don't know. Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. I don't know if that's going to happen. Jonathan Bailey, Wicked could happen if they really go gaga for Wicked. Adam Pearson, A Different Man. I would love to see that, but it's kind of an outside shot. Peter Sarsgaard, September 5. Harris Dickinson, Baby Girl. Interesting. Okay. Screenplay: Honora, Conclave, Brutalist, Real Pain, Sing Sing, The Substance. Outside shots: Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, Challengers, Saturday Night, Dune Part 2. Okay. Just thinking out loud here. Best Picture, non-English language. Amelia Perez. They're like, the community is really going hard for Amelia Perez winning. The Golden Globes have somewhat of a history of kind of picking very interesting winners in this category. I remember that one year where they chose Argentina 1985 for this category, and that was insane. But we have Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, The Seed of Sacred Fig, All We Imagine Is Light, Dee Dee, and Kneecap. Outside shots: Girl with the Needle, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. That is the name of a movie. Vermilio, Evil Does Not Exist. Dude, wonder if Evil Does Not Exist gets in. I will be so happy. That wasn't submitted by Japan for international, and that upsets me. And I want it to win something this year because it's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's so good. I would love just for it to get nominated. Just have it get nominated somewhere. Just somewhere, you know. Universal language. Yeah, there's a lot of options here. They could go for a lot of different things. But I will say that Amelia Perez is a lock. I mean, I'm Still Here is a lock. Sacred Fig, All We Imagine Is Light. Those are locks. But that fourth and fifth slots could go to a lot of things. Dee Dee's a possibility, even though that's not entirely in English. But Past Lives was nominated last year, and that was half of that movie is in English. So who knows? But Kneecap, Girl with the Needle. Yeah, they could do a lot of different things here. So, animated picture, Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, pretty much the top 6. We're talking Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Flow, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, and Moana 2. Yeah, that'll probably be it. Maybe Piece by Piece or Transformers 1, or maybe even Look Back. They like to nominate, the Golden Globes like to nominate like anime, like random anime films every now and again. Like last year, they nominated Suzume. And maybe they'll nominate like Look Back or something. I don't know. Maybe that Lord of the Rings anime movie. I'm not sure. But we'll see. What else? Cinematic and box office achievement. Who cares? It's probably going to go to Wicked, honestly. Either Wicked or Moana 2, if I'm going to be honest. Or Inside Out 2, actually. That's actually pretty tight race between, I guess, Wicked, Dune Part 2, Inside Out 2, Moana 2. I guess Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm not sure how much money that made, or Gladiator 2. Even though Gladiator 2, I don't think is going to make its money back because the budget was so big, and even though it's making a killing at the box office, it's not going to make its money back. Welcome to Hollywood in 2024. Original score: Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Conclave, Challengers, Wild Robot, Amelia Perez. Outside Shot, Saturday Night. I hope that gets nominated. Great score. Room Next Door, Wicked, maybe? I don't know. Blitz, very outside shot. I would love to see Nickel Boys get nominated. I mean, last year they had some cool picks for score. They nominated Zone of Interest last year. They nominated The Boy and the Heron last year. I mean, they could do some cool stuff. Like if they nominated A Different Man, great score in that movie. No one's talking about it. If they do something like that, hell yeah, I'd be into it. And then finally we have, I guess, original song. Yeah. We got Mi Camino and El Mal from Amelia Perez. We have Kiss the Sky from Wild Robot. Piece by Piece. Then we have Like a Bird from Sing Sing. Beyond from Moana 2. Will and Harper Go West from Will and Harper. A lot of these can happen. Compress and Repress by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross from Challengers. I don't know. But I think the three locks, I think at least one Amelia Perez song is locked. Either Mi Camino or El Mal. Kiss the Sky is most likely locked. Other than that, they could do some weird picks here. But those are my thoughts. And I don't think we're going to go through Critics' Choice stuff because there's a lot of Critics' Choice categories. But I will say that whatever was nominated at the Astra Awards will most likely reflect the Critics' Choice nominations next Thursday. Meaning that Wicked is probably going to be a big presence at Critics' Choice. And they might be they're a little more boring these days. You know, they go for a lot more conventional, crowd-pleasy, commercial type films these days. And they don't really go outside the box like they used to. So we'll see how they do. But I'm looking forward, definitely, to both Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. Absolutely, for sure. So stay tuned for my reaction video for the Golden Globe nominations and my reaction video for Critics' Choice nominations next week. Stay tuned, and I am very excited. Reaction videos are honestly my favorite part of doing this. I really love the live streams, and I love doing this podcast, and I love making quickie reviews and stuff like that, but definitely my favorite thing that I do for this channel are my reaction videos. It's just so much fun and so unpredictable. And they usually make I usually get the most views anyway from those things. Not that that really matters, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to really get into these reaction videos this year, because this is where it starts. Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. Then before you know it, there will be the Oscars shortlists. And thanks, truck, for what truck? Somebody's truck just sounded like a garbage truck. The garbage truck just rode by at 8:14 at night on a Saturday. Go home, dude. Rest. I want to say this microphone might drown that anyway. So if you didn't hear anything, great. So yeah, stick around for my reaction videos to Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. And I think we'll call it there, folks. Again, if you want to see my updated predictions, go to oscarguyhere.com/predictions. And you can also go to my YouTube channel and look at my archived live stream from yesterday. I think the title of the video is Come Watch Me Update My Oscar Predictions, or something like that. December 6th. So go check that out if you want. Otherwise, keep up with my latest things on Instagram, @OscarGuyHere, Twitter, @OscarGuyHere, Letterboxd, @JazzMusic131. my website. You know where to find me. You know what it is. You know how it be. That's it. Bring back the skellies. Bring back the skeleton shots. Anyway, thanks guys for listening, and thanks guys for watching my videos and being around. Love you all. And happy holidays. Christmas is coming up, and Hanukkah and all that stuff. So I hope you have a good holiday season. We will speak soon. I will see you Monday morning for Golden Globe nominations. Until then, have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar Guy is out.